Time to get into the next match of the day here in Week 4 of the European region of the RLCS. With the commentary is Shogun and Quentin Lobdell. Take it away, guys.
So this one's really going to be a case of what I've been calling the contender matches. We had the first one just a second ago between Method and Mocket, where we had one team that was definitely on course for a top 2, and another team that really needed a big week to try and put them in that top 2 contention, where obviously we saw Method really take it and just go on. Oh, yeah. Here's the second one of this. PSG, 4-0 right now, taking on Excel, who are 3-1. Match where if Excel win, they really put themselves in contention for those top 2 spots. Will we see the same thing happen, though? Your opinions?
I think we're going to see a great performance here from PSG. Excel, like they said on the desk, I mean, no slouches. We saw them just take out a Flipside team that probably the strongest that we've seen to date, at least in Season 4, right? So I do think that Excel may be able to take a game. The series, though, I think is going to go to PSG.
Okay, good to hear that.
Do you agree? Yeah?
No? No, I've definitely got my opinions on it, but I'm a man of storylines. And the storyline for this would be that if PSG take it, we are going to have the battle of the undefeateds later on. However, on the other side, though, we do have ourselves an XL squad who I'm fairly certain they'll be happy to just take that story, get themselves a big old marker pen and just go, nah, it's all us, baby.
I mean, I'd hope so, right? The destiny's in their hands. This isn't like some weird situation. This playoff scenario, Excel has the ability to do this and make this happen for themselves. Question is if.
Yep, question is, can they do it? The good thing for us is we don't have to wait to find out. This is game number 1 between Excel and PSG eSports. As we start hitting the crunch time in league play, who is going to be the players to step up and take their team into the top 2? And which teams will have to try and fight it out in playoffs? This could be a good start here from Excel as they maintain early pressure. And that man that we've got the camera on will be one of the biggest players to watch out for, Niels Cook, every season, having such strong shooting performances. Not only leading in terms of goals per game, but right up there as well in terms of shooting percentage. He is lethal when he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely been one of the most clinical players in any part of the pitch, talking about finishing, talking about the assists, the passing game. He's just been all around a superstar for his team.
So down to the other end of the pitch, PSG's first opportunity, a major offense. It's going to be a shot from the Chaussette. Too much angle for him to try and turn it in. But it was a good opportunity, PSG, with that counter-attack almost finding a way through. That is an open net, opening goal to Bluey.
I was going to say, Shogun, the opportunity's not over yet. Bluey just taking that 50-50 there and controlling his car and landing on the wall that quickly is what lets him get this opportunity on the goal. Getting on the right side of the ball just opens up a huge net for him, and so well done for him. Very fast counter there.
That recovery was so quick as well. We saw the player from Excel trying to rotate in, expecting to be the next player on the ball, but instead Bluey landed perfectly and just went, okay, this is still mine, lads. Took it into the net. So, 1-0 for PSG. Almost didn't last very long, though. Ferrer forced to make a save from the shot from Honex. Hone has been that player that I've been looking at for so long, hoping that this would be finally his chance to break out. This might be it, but Bluey is gonna make it too. Do not give him those midfield shots.
Yeah, just, again, we see Excel here kind of just sleeping on defense. Honex pushing the ball a little bit too far forward, and Niels Cook, the mistake, leaving the net a little bit early. You see him just turn and move himself out of position, and Bluey just seems like he's spotting these mistakes left and right, reading Excel so well.
Here comes Ferrer. Off that side, PSG have themselves that 2-goal lead that can be so important in competitive play. They've done this 6 times. They have converted 5 of them into victories. It's going to be so important as we head into the second half of this tournament to really keep that stat going. Bluey's going to be by himself for the time being, half flipping to get into a better position. Chaussette, very low boost for him. It's going to allow Excel to put some offensive pressure forward, which they do need, but 2 players over in that corner will take this away, but still low boost for PSG. You can see them now prioritizing, but it is still dangerous. They need to try and get this away soon, otherwise a shot like this could come in. Chaussette there, and Pondex for the 2nd time denied at the very last moment. Zenzus now over in that corner area. Can't steal the boost away, so Excel, they're on a time limit here. He's also being booted around in the back area. Opponent takes a shot, and there you can see where that boost loss did actually end up affecting Excel. There was a player that, if he did have boost, could have just turned around and taken the shot, but instead has to move back instead to get himself boost.
Yeah, we've actually seen Excel here attacking really with quite low boost for the amount of control and possession that they're maintaining, taking a lot of risk here, but they're going to need to against this PSG team.
Pondex, that shot was always going to be difficult to take, especially when he was as close to that post as he was. But PSG holding on to their 2-goal lead as they look to try and take down game number 1. And that is almost a huge mistake from Niels Cook. It is still dangerous, and it could very well turn itself in, but no, instead the ball hits the crossbar, hits the post, but does not hit the back of the net.
By the skin of their teeth there, that was such a close opportunity, almost the own goal coming from Excel.
Here's Chaussette. Early challenge. Excel have had opportunities, but every single time PSG, as you can see right now, holding someone on that defensive line, always ready to go for the challenge. Pondex being the main player that has been frustrated by PSG's defending players. Zenzus taking an early shot. This is mostly just to put some pressure on. Might be able to get something, but good, strong contact there from Chaussette allows Ferrer to come in for the counter-attacking play, and that might very well put this to rest.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be able to see much coming from Excel this game. It feels like they're trying to feel out PSG and really put a lot of pressure, but it just doesn't seem to work out. At PSG, their defense has been just unfaltered and constantly really scoring off of the counterattack. That's got to be so frustrating for Excel.
It is going to be very frustrating indeed, and it's the same thing we're talking about in the last series, where if you do go behind, teams, as they get more and more experienced at this game, are becoming better and better at playing whilst ahead. They know how to convert those into wins. So it's no longer the shootout that it used to be back in, even like a year ago where we had the RLCPL. Although a shot there from Podex does give 1 over to Excel.
Yeah, here we finally see a defensive error coming from PSG. Ferrer actually leaving the ball, and Chaussette just a little bit confused. He gets the misread off of the wall, and that whiff is going to be punished as Podex puts that one in. With 30 seconds left, 2 goals, it's doable, but I don't think it's going to happen, Shogun.
It is going to be very difficult for them indeed. Very rare do we see 3 goals dropped. But for Excel, if they want to take this first game, they are going to have to make that happen. As far as we can already see all the way back, he's got plenty of boost, not troubled by that touch at all, though it could be troubled by that one. But instead, Bluey kept following. We head into the final few seconds of this matchup. Bluey, if there's anyone you wanted to be taken for an air dribble, then it's definitely going to be him. He wastes more and more time away. Shall set the play up, and this will go over to PSG. Almost that 4th goal.
I know, halfway over the line. I was excited for that one. PSG, they've got to feel good with that one. Really, I mean, they actually didn't have possession for, I'd say, almost 80% or something of that entire match. Just Excel shooting time and time again, but just no luck. You can see actually so many shots from PSG, but most of those I feel like were quick clears going on target, easily dealt with.
Yeah, and then we see a huge shot differential there between the two teams. Just PSG controlling the first match. It's another thing that we've seen changing more and more, especially in Europe. It doesn't seem like that first game feel out is there anymore. It used to be all the time of just constantly playing almost ping pong style to see, okay, we don't want to make any mistakes in game 1. We want to try and keep this going. But instead, we're seeing more and more teams just go, yeah, we know what we're doing. We're just going to go straight in and play our game.
Exactly. I mean, they have a play style. They know what their strengths are. And I think it's, to the advantage to see teams just kind of play to their strengths, not really focusing on trying to be too well-rounded or, playing a play style that's just not natural. That's going to be a lot easier punished than just, being an over-aggressive team if you're good at it.
Yes, certainly indeed. So game number 2 coming up very shortly. PSG taking themselves 1 game up through a very dominant opening game. However, Excel, they've already got the goals running. They managed to pick themselves up 1 on Pondex, so I think we're just happy to finally break through the defenders. Yeah. Can they convert that now? Definitely
good for their mental state. I think it's going to be frustrating again, going that entire series, so many shots, but nothing working out for them. Excel, I don't know, maybe they need to change something here or what. It's got to be so frustrating, this PSG team.
Well, PSG, a team that is very happy to sit on the back foot. So, same thing as last time. I'm going to say the opening goal will be the most important one, as that's going to be a shot played early, but those midfield shooting just not as useful as they used to be as teams have become better and better at their rotations. Very rare that you can catch anyone out.
Yeah, usually demos, bump plays, or just honestly straight defensive errors are the biggest reason now we see a lot of goals happening when you have a team like PSG. Honestly, I keep talking about them, but they've impressed so many times with just how consistent they are on defense.
Oh, that's going to be played over to the side from Nielscook after the carry from Bluey. His play style is just so useful for what he can contribute for a team. Just able to pick up the ball and carry it across the field. Very reminiscent of JNAPS over in the North American side, as PSG had themselves a decent amount of pressure. Chaussette will be on the back rotation and allow them to turn it back in, but PSG will be searching for boost. And that is going to mean that they have given up some pressure, but Bluey went all the way back. He's going to rotate himself back in. Excel need to get rid of this very soon.
Yeah, Bluey actually the only one there without boost as he went back, but we see Excel still stuck in their own half with no boost, struggling to deal with this ball.
It'll become more and more difficult for them as PSG are going to look to try and contain, capitalize, and score. As they almost make their way through. Still 0-0. End of the opening 90 seconds. PSG on the offensive end. This is an opportunity for Bluey. Just couldn't quite make it. The follow-up shot from Ferrer. He's at a bad angle. No power on that, and Excel will escape, still scoreless.
Yeah, a lot of great ideas there coming from PSG, using the width of the field when they know that Excel has no boost to deal with the ball.
I think PSG just want to hit anything that isn't the post. Right now, yet another shot going off, and now Nielscook's opportunity to go all the way back. There's a little bit of defensive pandemonium. But PSG have taken it, and Excel. Gwen, I really want to pose this to you because I'm noticing right here that Excel are pretty much only focusing on one wave offense. Their case of them moving forward, doing something, and as soon as PSG get the ball back, they all go straight back to their own net. What do you think of that style of play?
I'm really not a big fan of it. I think that when anytime you just give up all pressure, there's no interference play, you just kind of invite goals to happen. You're just giving the other team opportunities to score on you. And if you really are so confident that your defense is just on another level than the other team's offense.
Oh, what a save from Nielscook. Had to try and barrel through a player. Sorry for interrupting you there, Quinn.
No. I mean, yeah, exactly what I say. But really, that's just the most important part. You'll see the best teams like Method, the interference play is so important. They never give up on the ball or trying to maintain possession of it.
So here's Nielscook, does get there first. Chaussette's got to play this whilst facing his own net. Has got it into the corner and played it for a second time. Well done there from Chaussette. Actually very difficult to play the ball whilst facing towards your own side. Did very well, Bluey. Opportunity to carry, but low boost means that he just try and go for the flick. Pondex tries to go for the wall half volley. And he's managed to get it into the midfield, but PSG back onto the offensive end. Excel just giving them too much time to play around the ball. I feel like they might very well get punished for this very soon, unless they can change up. And there's a shot, and yeah, they get punished for it.
Where's the crystal ball? Where is it, Shogun? That prediction so perfect, but you nailed it right on the head. I mean, just pushing that ball a little bit too far away, and with nobody on their team trying to follow it up to continue that pressure, at least take a 50-50 and buy your teammates some time to rotate or get some boost. It doesn't happen. You see them give away the ball, and it's an easy goal for PSG.
So, I think this will be the wake-up call, though, that Excel needed, as they're going to try and take this into the offensive end. They've got 1:15 to turn this around and take this into a tied game. But can they do it? PSG would like to say no. Chaussette would like to say hello to my shooting as Ferrer turns it in off the rebound.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the biggest, or if this was a conscious change from game 1 to game 2, but you can see there's a noticeable difference with the amount of possession of the ball from Excel and even the shots taken. There's only 2 shots coming from Nielscook alone. Pondex and Zensus with all donuts across the board. They've had almost no impact on the play, and I feel a big part of that just inviting pressure from PSG.
Oh,
and
there's Nielscook.
And maybe I should just eat my words.
Maybe. You're the anti-crystal ball after that one. However,
take it. I mean,
that's an important goal, though. Nielscook, the biggest shooter on that squad. They need to get him going. They need to stop feeding him shots. And as you mentioned, he's the only one that's really been taking them for Excel, but they need more on him.
Right, and we see Pondex, something he's so good at is just the transition from defense to offense. He really helps his team a lot with fast wall clears. That's his specialty. But they don't seem to get the ball to Pondex whenever he's on the wall. They're just going for their own solo clears, pushing the ball to space, and it feels like PSG are bringing that so well. Oh, another clear there from Chaussette.
And even if we just look at this statistically, average player shooting percentage is somewhere between 25 to 35, roughly. You need to be taking about 10 shots per game to be able to manage even close to what you would need to try and beat some of these top teams. And Excel are not coming close enough to that number at all.
And that's not even including the fact that most of those shots taken in an average game are good goal-scoring opportunities. It's not just your typical shot you're throwing at the net like we've kind of seen here from Excel.
So, we're going to come towards the end of game number 2, a closer affair, and it's actually not over. Census with the pat, with the slap, and with the goal.
I take it all back.
We both take it back, dude.
Just what a touch there from Zensus. Oh, getting that past Bluey. He had no faith there. And the touch from Zensus, just not believing whatsoever. Niels Cook pushing that ball all the way forward. I mean, that Hail Mary pass there all the way at the end.
I mean, we can talk about statistics all we want. Sometimes you just gotta be really good. And that is what that play was. We are all tied
well
up.
Said.
2 goals brought back. Overtime. So, a crucial game 2. Either a 2-0 lead for PSG or 1-1. PSG currently 4-1 when it comes to overtime. So a very good record for them. Catching most of those last week. There's an opportunity for Zenzus. He wants to try and make it 4-2, but the shot, too much of an angle, could not put enough power on it. We're going to still stay in this overtime. Both these teams need to find a way through.
Oh, great touch there from Pondex. That's the pressure you want to see. You want to force mistakes coming out of PSG, and by putting so much pressure, maintaining possession, they're also not letting PSG take as many 50-50s.
PSG looks shook right now as Excel are attacking them more and more often. We see the longest wave offense that they've done across this entire series. Now PSG on the other end of the field, trying to turn that goal in. Bluey once again off the wall. It's like people just forget that he's there as he keeps getting to play it. Pondex using a catapult shot there from that Batmobile. Almost a low amount of power actually from what you'd expect from a Batmobile player, but still on the side of Excel. I'm liking their positioning right now. Looking much better, looking much more offensively dangerous. 2 players put forward. Now Niels Cook will be by himself. He will buy time by playing the ball up the wall.
And there's nobody here from PSG with any boost. This entire wave of pressure just comes from boost control. And oh!
The switch has been flipped for Excel, but now down to the other end of the field. PSG have scored so many times on counterattacks. They would love to make it another one. Niels Cook, he's got time. Zentus will go the other side. Niels Cook does it, and it will go in. We are all tied up. Excel with a magnificent comeback.
Yeah, Niels Cook here just so clutch for his team. This comeback from Excel all stemming from just getting a little bit more confidence, the pressure. They saw Niels Cook really just kind of giving it all, and once they got a little bit of boost control, just completely, the play style of the team just changing just from black to white, just a complete different Excel from the beginning of the match.
You know something's good when you get the rare Shogun voice break. And that is what we got just there. Wow, well done by Excel, but they've got to keep doing that now. Light and day difference between how they started that game and how they finished that game. Looking so much more threatening. And now that I've actually seen that from them, I'm no longer scared. I actually kind of thought after that first game, okay, this might be just a complete one-sided game. But now that we've seen PSG Excel perform to that level, we've got ourselves a real slobber knocker.
Definitely. The best of slobber knockers.
Hit them really hard. That's what we want to see from both of these teams. But as we go into the 3rd game, but absolutely huge, we are now all tied up at 1 game apiece. PSG really going to have to start digging in now and see if they can counteract this almost reinvigorated Excel squad coming back from 2 goals down. That is just so rare. As these teams have got better and better, and we were talking about it, just teams have got better and better at converting, that at this point, when you see a team come back from 2 goals, we don't look at it as in, oh, that was a throw. It's, oh my goodness, that was sick.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that there was just like a little bit of a check mark that got taken right in the confidence department. I mean, they're struggling so hard to pressure the ball at all, and it really just switched with PSG completely. We saw them just stuck in their own net, afraid to go for the ball, not really taking any risks necessary. They just weren't the same PSG that we've been seeing. Bluey flying off the walls, not really caring if he's going to miss.
Oh, there's going to be the shot from Chaussette, and it will trickle its way in after poor defensive clearance attempts from Excel. And then PSG, for the third time in a row, take the opening goal.
Yeah, just good positioning there from Chaussette, really kind of opening up the opportunity for Zensus to whiff and just kind of forcing an error.
Well, 18 seconds in, and we are currently 1-0 to PSG. We'll just be happy to try and break the 3-goal streak that Excel were on heading into this matchup. Louis gonna try and carry the ball to the depth of the pitch and try and take out Niels Cook. He's a busy boy, that one. As Ferrer gets taken out by Niels. You try and hit Niels, Niels comes in and demos you. How about that one? Louis plays it long. This is going to be something for Ponedex to need to deal with. Just played straight back into the middle. PSG can remain in offensive control. Shot from Ferrer. There is nobody back. And Niels Cook looks at the side and just goes, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, Niels Cook here just getting demoed here, and it's going to take him out of the game. Ponedex and Zensus needing to buy just much more time there. With 2 players sucked into the play, they need to just completely control the play and focus on killing the ball as opposed to trying to win with the clear.
It's the second time now that they've been caught out from a loose defensive touch, allowing PSG to move themselves back in and circle around their net. So 2-0, as that previous game showed, that is currently not a safe scoreline, I should say. As PSG will probably be looking for the third, especially with so much time remaining. Ponedex, definitely an awkward angle for PSG to need to deal with, but they are going to remain in offensive control. Excel, do not go back to old habits. But the main question I have right now is how much boost do they have? Will it even matter if a shot comes in? It might not. Here's Niels Cook. He did it last time. Can he do it again? 1v1 against Ferrer, but plays it straight into the body of the car.
Yeah, it was actually a 1v2 opportunity there. He had a teammate to his right, but instead playing a little bit selfishly. And I just think that's the wrong time and place when you're on a breakaway down 2 goals. You need to just be as selfless as possible and focus on the fastest way to score a goal.
Maybe focusing on that overtime goal he got in the previous matchup. Thinking, you know what, if I can do it once, I can do it twice. Niels Cook, currently the midfield holder for this squad. Zentus is going to put himself up, puts it straight down. Here's Niels Cook with the open net, can't turn it in. There's one.
And I love seeing this lurk here from Niels Cook. If you look, he's actually the 3rd man back in this play, playing off to the side. And instead, he knows that he needs to make these goals happen, and he's seen that they've had few opportunities. So instead, he chooses to lurk upfield, and when he sees the whiff there from Chaussette, he's able to capitalize.
Well, they've already done it in the previous matchup. Excel trying to make a 2-goal lead mean absolutely nothing. But they need to get themselves one more. And before that, they need to get this ball out of their defensive half. There's the one ball played that past. Niels Cook with the flick on, but Ponedex just can't do anything with it. Zentus with the control. That is going to be a very dangerous play to go for. Niels Cook plays it to the side. Zentus comes back in. And just breathe a sigh of relief if you are Excel, because that was almost completely unnecessary. Ferrer over into the corner. Here's Bluey. Takes it to the side, gets it past Ponedex, but Ponedex just clouched straight into him. That is played straight over to Ferrer from Niels Cook, giving the ball straight back. It's Niels Cook now over into the corner. Ponedex. Play this off the wall. He's going to try and take this the entire length. He's managed to force players to commit. Now an opportunity for Excel to move themselves in, but it's so late on the offensive shadow that they just can't get anything from it. So now ball played straight from Louis to Ferrer. Now Chaussette can rotate himself in as PSG try and control those 2 middle boosts. But it might be Niels Cook on the counter-attack. Louis be the last player in the net. Minute and 35 seconds remaining, and there is no way to confirm which team will be taking this. Excel with these long-distance plays looking lethal, but they need that slight more accuracy.
Yeah, a few close opportunities. The Excel that we saw much more successful was really a very aggressive one. I don't like seeing them play so far back from the ball. It just doesn't work out for them, and I think that they fall into their defensive habits, the tendencies there.
Here's Bluey, going to try and go the entire length of the pitch. This is just what he does every single time. We were speaking about it on overtime. Exactly what Bluey does and why you go for it. It's exactly that. You pull players out, you force them to respect you, and you completely mess up the Excel rotation as that shot is just going to be a little bit too high. PSG would love another 2-goal lead. That could be it. Shot going to go over to the side. Ferrer gets bumped out of the lane. Now it's going to be Excel on the counter-attack. Niels Cook does get challenged, but he's still on the ball. He played long, though, after a great challenge there from Bluey. Gets it over in the corner. He's taking out Pondex. Zenzus will be the last man back, but this is still more time being wasted by PSG as they force Excel to waste more and more time doing something that they would not want to. But here can be the follow-up. Pondex looks to try and make it straight into the body of Bluey's car. And now PSG on the counter-attack. Only one player back. Bluey taking the early shot. But Pondex can save. The main story, though, 10 seconds remaining. And Excel have got to find something from somewhere. They did it with 4 seconds remaining last time. Can they do it again? It is going to be their last chance. But that one played over to the side will mean the end of this matchup. PSG go 2-1 up.
Yeah, PSG here is so just really great 50-50 games. I think kind of dictated the storyline of this match, or this specific game. You just didn't really see Excel kind of do much of anything. They had a few opportunities, but again, cool, level-headed defending from PSG just worked out for them. Overthought the whole match. It wasn't enough creativity, and something interesting to think about was we see Pondex there on the Octane instead of the Batmobile we saw earlier. And
I did not notice that.
Yeah, I think it's a result of him trying to focus more on winning the 50-50s and seeing just how good PSG are at the 50-50s. He doesn't have enough space to get those wall clears. I mentioned he just wasn't getting enough of the ball in the first game to make something happen with it, so the switch to Octane might just be focused on ball possession.
Could very well be. Well, Excel are definitely trying new things as we continue on this series, but they need to now take the next 2 games. Otherwise, PSG will be setting up an undefeated matchup in game number 5 with Method. Like I said, Excel, they want to be the party poopers for that. They want to try and take this win. They've already won in game 5 so far today, so against Flipside Tactics. Can they do it again? Well, in order to get there, they have to win game number 4, which we are about to head into. So, we already know what we want from Excel. We want them to be more offensive focused. We want them to start capitalizing on the fact that they do have such lethal players. But how do they get to that point?
Yeah, a lot of that's going to be just playing closer together and focusing on putting that ball into open space. We see them going for a lot of these long hits, just solo clears. It's just not really looking for teammates. And I don't think that's always the case, but we've noticed much more success on the offensive end when Niels Cook is not the player bringing the ball up the field. He needs to be that second or third man back, the one who takes the shot, because his shots are so much more lethal than either of his 2 teammates.
Well, Excel going to have the opportunity as they start off this game with offensive pressure. That's going to be given up straight over to Bluey as everyone is now back. Pondex does get beat. Bluey wants to take this the entire way. He does get another block, so PSG have the option for the follow-up, and they do take it. PSG leathering shot after shot on this net. Will it eventually break down? Bluey wants to say yes. Census says no. And unbelievably, Excel have escaped.
Yeah, how they managed to defend that ball with 0 boost across all 3 teammates is still a mystery to me.
So, the real firework display to start us off in this 4th game. Excel now need to switch it up, get themselves out of defense, and move it down to their opponent's end. Zenzus will take on Ferrer. He will beat Ferrer outright to the ball, but it is going to be a loose ball. Bluey over into the corner and effectively just giving that one up, but nobody on the side of Excel want to come and challenge. PSG holding themselves back. Ponex wants to go for a set over in the corner, but Zenzus is going to have to half rotate and make his way all the way back. I almost feel like Bluey might be overdoing those air dribbles now. They're getting a little bit predictable. I feel like it might be actually why Excel are holding themselves back every single time, because they know that is the easiest way to deal with Bluey's dribbles.
Right, they don't want to suck anybody in to defend it just aggressively by going up for an aerial. They'd rather just let Bluey take himself out of the play by coming all the way down the field. But I feel like this might actually be working to PSG's advantage here, because Excel just kind of over-predicts it. They're getting afraid of Bluey. Instead of trying to keep him honest and challenge him quickly, they just let him have possession and don't challenge him fast enough.
So we'll see how PSG can make use of that midfield that is effectively being given over to them. Oh, as there was a chance there. Niels Cook now wants to take us to the other end. He did not land very well, and still Ferrer taking more and more pot shots at him will make it even more difficult for Excel to push this down to the other end. Still one of the only games where we have not had ourselves an early goal. We'll see how these 2 teams do as Ferrer tried to fake out and force a challenge in his favor. Here's Ponex. Trying to take the ball to the length of the pitch by himself, but instead it's Bluey with a chance to pass it over. Both these teams getting more and more confident in that midfield.
This
now becoming a war to see who can keep possession. Shot, put straight to the middle. Shot set can play that long. That could go all the way. No, Zenzus just wants to correct his positioning, but still making mistakes. Excel are giving away too much space. Ferrer is behind. He has got position to try and take the shot. He's going to go straight down. Two players committed as well. Bluey can keep this pressure up, but a strong challenge there from Niels Cook will allow Excel to get away, but how many times can they get away with that? Zenzus wants to make a repeat of game 2, but he just could not quite make contact.
Yeah, we saw misses both from each team, a close opportunity to take this first goal, but you can tell both teams really so eager to keep the scoreline equal. Neither of them want to give up that first goal, and they're really fighting for it, I think, harder than any other goal in the series.
Owned, taking his time, wants to catch it on the half volley, and he has managed to get it up high. Both Bluey and Chaussette did momentarily commit to it, but Bluey pulled himself off. Still going to be lower boost for him. Now it's going to be bouncing around Niels Cook. It's going to be a hard shot, and it just never quite set up for him.
It's going to be just so heartbreaking there for that Excel team. I mean, they need this goal to keep alive in this series.
Still 0-0 as we head into the final 60 seconds. I still have no idea how after that opening minute flurry that we did see. But it is. Zenzus trying to take this to the corner. Bluey has got him shadowed. He has got the demo. It's going to be very dangerous to deal with, but Ferrer, he is too close. Cannot move straight in, expecting the pass from Bluey to just go straight down on him, but instead Bluey tried to play himself. Final 35. Both these teams still at a deadlock. Could we see yet another overtime?
I think we are going to be seeing an overtime. Both these teams really not taking any risks at all, just waiting on the mistakes. We saw even earlier that ball just floating in front of the PSG net, but Niels Cook and the other team didn't want to take the risk of just flying at that aerial. They really don't want to give it up.
Chaussette! You are monstrous!
Wow, what a shot here from Chaussette, and I felt so bad after watching this from Niels Cook's perspective. He's just sitting here on the backboard, but he's unable to get a touchdown. He hit his brakes and it causes him to fall off the backboard, and he couldn't hit the flip in time.
I just want to gush over that shot for a second, because everybody, me, you, the analysts, the viewers, everyone in production, everyone on Excel expected Chaussette to take the shot first time. But no, he controls, then he takes the shot, and with that, he will take the win for PSG. We have got ourselves set up for an undefeated clash between Method and PSG eSports.
And I think this is the matchup that so many people wanted to see, and they wanted to see it with PSG and Method both going 5-0, and that's what we have. Like you said, it's going to be so exciting to see.
That is going to be absolutely ridiculous. This is how close Europe has been, but PSG and Method have really just put themselves into a different zone for themselves. They're making it about them, which is going to be so helpful for them, considering how competitive the region is, to just go, yeah, this is the most competitive region, but we are still the top dogs.
Yeah, really just making a name for themselves, and so many of these players on both teams are really just having not so much success in past seasons, and this is kind of just their breakout season. We see Method struggling so many times, like narrowly missing out on LAN last season, and they just come in this season just dominating. It's incredible.
And it's got to be feeling so good for Chaussette as well. Last season did not have the time that he'd wanted, stepping up huge this season. And with a game like that, they were speaking earlier on the desk about maybe him being the MVP. I'm starting to be more and more convinced by the second. So let's hear from the analysts that did say that. Axel Toss, over to you.
Thanks, guys. And PSG picking up where they left off, following the model that Method laid before them and staying undefeated, setting us up with a match in a couple matches from now between the two undefeateds, PSG and Method. But Excel certainly put up a fight. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high-performance replay from that match, as PSG giving up a game, but coming up on top with the victory.
But once again, it shows Excel is one of these teams that's one of the best right now in Europe, which is such a surprise for both of these teams to be so high on everyone's boards now. After when you went to like predictions for league play, you would expect when PSG and Excel 6-7. And now they're right near the top. But PSG, once again, Chaussette proven why he is an MVP caliber player. He only had 8 shots, scored 2 and 4 assists as well. So such few opportunities, but he makes them count. And we saw a couple bad plays on defense from Zenzus. It's just too much pressure from PSG throughout the series.
Yeah, they had that one game where they made the epic comeback, scoring with 4 seconds left and then doing it in overtime, showing that they are one of these top caliber teams. And at the beginning of the year, you referenced it. Like, first we'll be talking about PSG and Excel up in the top 3, and Method up in the top 3. Like, Method is a team that's been, they had a great summer. There was a lot of hype around them, but the big 3 were Envious, Gale Force, and Flipside still, right? And the next match we have today is Gale Force versus Flipside, which at the beginning of the season, I think we would have all been like, oh, that's going to be a good one. Can't wait for that one. In the match that was following it of Method and PSG, would be like, I don't know about that one, but it's completely the other way around here. The match everybody's going to be talking about for the rest of the season, it's going to be that one.
Yeah, it's just awesome. And the fact that it still felt like that series was close, even though it was a 3-1, Excel definitely fought. And on that note, when we're looking at PSG, undefeated, looking as good as they are, we did notice some weaknesses. So, Gibbs, can you speak towards that a little bit as far as any weaknesses you guys saw from PSG, and I guess the best way for any other teams to get in that chemistry and mess with it a little bit?
One of the things is Bluey, he likes to go for everything, and he seemed just slightly off with everything throughout the series, so I was a little worried about that, but it shows how good PSG is that his teammates picked him up throughout the series and still won a very tight series versus a good opponent. So it's going to come down to consistency for them. I think it's one of those things where if Shawset doesn't get the opportunities or he doesn't capitalize on them, you can beat PSG, but right now, he's just making these incredible plays like the last play of the game, basically, where he traps it, does an extra flip to pull the goalies out, and eventually you would think that they're going to cool off.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened.
You heard them talking about it during the match that you saw Excel hanging back in the net, and I think it was Shogun talking about like, Bluey's going for these air dribbles, and maybe that's why they're hanging back a lot, and so they can predict the air dribbles and they're easily defending it, but he's conditioning them to stay in the back, and then that frees up the rest of PSG to play what they want to, and so they have this dual threat, and if they ever do move out and let Bluey air dribble, then he's going to score on you that way, and right now they're scoring on them because they're having to fall back and defend the air dribbles. So what do you do when you have this dual threat offense like that? PSG really on fire right now.
Yeah, and Method as well, again, setting us up for an awesome match. That's a couple matches from now. We are 3 matches down today out of 6 in total. So we're about halfway through the broadcast. Thanks again for tuning in on twitch.tv/Rocket League. We're going to take a short break here from League Play Action. When we come back, we have Flipside Tactics returning to the field. It is now or never for Flipside Tactics. They're going up against Gale Force eSports. It's their debut this week. We'll see what happens in this best of 5 coming up next.